There are objects that change the course of history. Some are so extraordinary that merely mentioning their name is enough to evoke mystery and power. Among all of them, one stands out: the Ark of the Covenant. Imagine an artifact capable of bringing down walls, paralyzing armies, and communicating directly with the divine. An object so sacred that even touching it accidentally resulted in instant death. Does it sound like fiction? Historical records say otherwise. For centuries, the Ark of the Covenant was at the center of the spiritual power of one of the most influential civilizations in ancient history. Kings and priests trembled before it. Entire nations changed their paths because of it. And then, it simply disappeared. Today, archaeologists, historians, and researchers from all over the world continue their tireless search for this legendary artifact. Some say it is hidden in the catacombs of the Vatican. Others believe it rests in a church in Ethiopia. There are even those who claim the Knights Templar hid it in a secret location. But where did the most powerful and mysterious object ever mentioned in sacred scriptures go? The answer may be more surprising than you think. The story of the Ark begins at one of the most dramatic moments of the Old Testament. We are talking about approximately 1500 years before Christ, with the Hebrew people just freed from slavery in Egypt. Moses had just climbed Mount Sinai, and it was there, according to sacred texts, that he received not only the 10 Commandments, but also meticulous instructions to create something extraordinary. Imagine the scene. Moses descends the mountain with a divine project in hand. It was not just a box, it was the design for the most sacred object that would ever exist on Earth. Every detail was specified with impressive precision. God himself had chosen the master craftsman, Bezalel, a man who, according to the book of Exodus, was filled with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. But why create the Ark? The moment couldn't be more significant. The Hebrew people had just gained their freedom, but they needed something to symbolize their new covenant with God. The Ark would be that symbol, a physical object that would represent the divine presence among them. And it wasn't just any object. The Ark of the Covenant was designed to hold the most sacred items in Judaism: the tablets of the law with the 10 Commandments, some of the manna, the miraculous food that sustained the Israelites in the desert, and Aaron's rod, which miraculously flowered. Here's the most fascinating detail. While other peoples of the time carried statues of their gods, the Israelites carried an empty throne, because their God was invisible and transcendent. The Ark wasn't God, it was the place where his presence manifested among his people. Historical records show us that the construction of the Ark mobilized the best craftsmen from the Hebrew people. The finest materials available were used: acacia wood, resistant to decay, pure gold for the coating, and craftsmanship techniques that, even by today's standards, would be considered extraordinary. But the most impressive was yet to come. This simple Ark was about to become the center of some of the most extraordinary events ever recorded in ancient history. Let's talk about the appearance and powers of the Ark. And believe me, it's even more impressive than any representation you've seen in movies. First, the exact dimensions: 2.5 cubits long by 1.5 cubits wide and high. Translating to modern measurements, we're talking about a box approximately 1.15 meters long by 70 centimeters wide and high. Sounds small? Well, wait until you hear the details of its construction. The Ark was made of acacia wood, not by chance. This wood was known for its extraordinary resistance to decay and insects. But that was just the beginning. Every inch of the Ark, inside and out, was covered in pure gold. We're talking about an object that by today's standards would be worth millions. On top, there was something unique: the mercy seat. Imagine a solid gold plate with 2 golden cherubim at each end, their wings spread, creating a kind of throne. It was from there, between the cherubim's wings, that God was said to speak with Moses. But the powers attributed to the Ark, they defy any natural explanation. Let's go to the documented historical records. In the waters of the Jordan River, they parted when the Ark passed. In Jericho, the walls fell after the Ark was carried around the city for 7 days. In battle, entire armies fled before it. And the most impressive, anyone who touched it without permission died instantly. There are records of people who died simply by looking inside it. King David, when he decided to transport it to Jerusalem, was so afraid that he first left it for 3 months in the house of a subject to make sure it was safe. A fascinating detail few know: the ark had to be carried by wooden poles overlaid with gold, which passed through golden rings on its sides. No one could touch it directly, not even the priests who carried it. Modern scientists have tried to explain these phenomena. Some suggest that the combination of materials could create a natural capacitor, storing static electricity. Others point to possible radiation, but no theory has fully explained all the powers attributed to the ark. What makes all this even more intriguing is that we're not talking about vague legends or scattered stories. These events were meticulously documented with dates, locations, and witnesses. The journey of the Ark of the Covenant is one of the most extraordinary stories ever documented, and it begins in the most unlikely of places: a desert. For 40 years, the Ark guided the people of Israel through the Sinai Desert. When the cloud that hovered over it moved, the people followed it. When it stopped, they camped. It was literally a divine GPS in ancient times. But it's when the Ark reaches Canaan that things get really interesting. Its first great demonstration of power? The Jordan River. According to records, as soon as the priests carrying the Ark touched the water with their feet, the entire river stopped flowing. We're talking about a river that, at that time of year, was in flood. Then came Jericho, probably the most famous event involving the Ark. For 7 days, it was carried around the city walls. On the 7th day, after 7 circuits, well, you probably know this part, the walls simply collapsed. And here's a detail few know. Modern archaeologists discovered something fascinating in Jericho. Excavations show that the walls actually fell outward, something that defies the logic of physics, as walls under attack normally fall inward. The Ark continued its journey, passing through various locations. Gilgal, where it stayed temporarily. Bethel, where it served as an oracle in times of war. Shiloh, where it remained for about 300 years in the first fixed temple built for it. But not all was victory. In one of the most dramatic episodes, the Ark was captured by the Philistines. And this is where the story gets even more interesting. In every Philistine city the Ark was brought to, disasters happened. In Ashdod, the statue of the god Dagon fell and broke. The population was struck by mysterious tumors. Panic spread among the Philistines. After 7 months of chaos, the Philistines decided to return the Ark, along with gold offerings to appease the wrath of the God of Israel. It was placed on a new cart, pulled by 2 cows that had never been yoked, and they found their way back to Israelite territory on their own. Finally, we reach the most glorious moment of the Ark's journey, its installation in Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. King Solomon built a special chamber called the Holy of Holies, specifically to house the Ark. It was the most sacred place in the temple, where only the high priest could enter, and only once a year. And then, in one of the greatest mysteries of ancient history, the Ark simply disappears. The last official mention of the Ark in the Bible occurs during the reign of King Josiah, around 623 BC. After that, silence. Even when the Babylonians sacked Solomon's temple in 586 BC, taking all the treasures to Babylon, the Ark is not mentioned in the list of stolen items. But where did the most powerful object ever created go? This is where the theories begin, each one more intriguing than the last. The first theory takes us to Ethiopia. In the city of Axum, an Orthodox church claims to guard the true Ark of the Covenant. According to them, when the son of King Solomon visited his father in Jerusalem, he took the Ark with him back to Ethiopia. A guardian monk lives in isolation, caring for what they claim is the original Ark. No one else can see it. Another theory takes us to Mount Nebo in modern-day Jordan. According to ancient Jewish texts, the prophet Jeremiah, foreseeing the destruction of Jerusalem, hid the Ark in a cave on this mountain. A text in the book of Maccabees says that the location would remain hidden until God gathers his people again. A third theory, particularly fascinating, suggests that the Ark is hidden in secret tunnels beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Rabbis of the time may have built a complex network of tunnels to protect the sacred treasure. In 1981, an Israeli rabbi claimed to have found the entrance to these tunnels, but was prevented from continuing the excavations due to political and religious issues. There are also theories involving the Knights Templar, who supposedly found the Ark during the Crusades and took it to Europe. Some believe it is hidden in the catacombs of the Vatican, others that it was taken to France or England. The most incredible part is that even after thousands of years, the search continues. Archaeologists, historians, and adventurers are still looking for clues. Governments fund expeditions. Modern technologies are used to search caves and ancient tunnels. But perhaps the real mystery is not where the Ark is, but why it disappeared exactly when it did. Could it be a coincidence that its disappearance occurred just when the people of Israel were about to face their greatest test? Or was there a greater purpose? The Ark of the Covenant remains one of the greatest mysteries in history. Its search continues to inspire explorers, intrigue scientists, and fascinate people all over the world. After all, where is the most powerful object ever mentioned in the scriptures? The answer, for now, remains as mysterious as the Ark itself. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.